Hello, and good evening, everyone. My name is DJ Shy of 96.3 Easy Rock, just the right rock. Welcome to the April GMM of the Creator and Influencer Council of the Philippines, or the CICP. I'm very honored to be hosting tonight's event, not to mention to be able to learn from the different key opinion leaders in creator and influencer marketing. So, how has everybody been? What are you up to these days? But whatever that is, we just hope that you're doing great and you're healthy and safe wherever you're watching us right now. So, some of you also might be wondering what the CICP is all about, but here is a refresher for you. The CICP, or the Creator and Influencer Council of the Philippines, was established in 2020, and it is an organization of creators, influencers, and marketing professionals that aim to elevate the country's creator and influencer marketing ecosystem. Now, these monthly GMMs, or general membership meetings, are our way of reaching out to our members and future members and creating content that is helpful for all of us. So, if you're interested in joining, just check out www.cicp.com.ph. Okay. So, of course, I'm not going to forget to say hello to all of the viewers who are watching right now, who are tuned in. Thank you so much for spending a few minutes of your time to learn, and watch and listen to the different panelists later on. So, let us know where you're watching from in the comments below. Okay, now moving on. Like we've mentioned earlier, the CICP does these monthly GMMs to connect and reach out to its members through mounting very insightful webinars. And this time, we are going to be learning the business side, of creator and influencer marketing as we tackle the business of influence, influencer pricing, and negotiations. Interesting, right? Now, have you ever asked questions like, what is the process of determining influencer prices? Or how do you cost out deliverables? Or what are the things to consider when giving rates? Well, tonight we will all be learning the answers to these questions and more by listening in on our keynote speaker. So, without further ado, please welcome the talent manager of Whalar Los Angeles, Amron Lopez, and with him, of course, is the CICP Vice President, Ace Gapos. Amron and Ace, please take it away.
Thank you so much, DJ Shai. Appreciate you. And now we're here with our keynote speaker, Mr. Amron Lopez. Hello, Amron. How have you been doing?
Hi, Ace. I'm doing good. How are you guys doing?
It's we're feeling great here in the Philippines. I hope that everything is okay there, also in your side of the world.
Most definite. Things are getting better here in the United States, and I'm really excited to be here with you guys.
That's so nice. Now, people are watching us from all over the world, but CICP is an organization based in the Philippines. Now, Whalar is not a Philippine company, so some of our audiences may not be familiar with it. I'll give you this chance to tell us about Whalar and maybe what you do in the company.
Of course, yeah. So to give you a little bit of background, Whalar is a global tech-powered influencer company, and what's make us unique is that a third of our staff are engineers, which is rare for companies such as ours. And the work that we do for clients is executed on a platform that they built, which allows us to see things like social media, metrics, and performances, which in turn helps us make great data-driven decisions. And for us is that we represent both talent and brands, and our mission statement is to liberate the creative voices of our, of brands and clients. And what that means is that we've seen the campaigns that we work on perform best when they come from a very authentic place and it has that human creativity. So rather than forcing a marketing message, we ask people to simply share stories and personal narratives in a creative way on how a certain product has impacted their lives. And one interesting differentiator about our company or influencer marketing team is that we really put an emphasis on the neuroscience work that focuses on the commercial value of the creativity in influencers, specifically like how creativity drives emotions, emotions drives memory, and memory drives recall, and recall drives sales. And it's interesting because we did a study in which we found that when compared to TV advertisements, influencer content registers 277% more emotionally intent intense and 87% more memorable, which proves that influencer marketing is a meaningful way for brands to connect with audience. And for me, is that I'm a talent manager that sits in the talent side of the company. Originally, our company only had like the brand team, and from there we basically had clients reach out to us and say, hey, we want you guys to be like our talent managers. And that's how our department was born. Now we represent some of the biggest, some of the best in class digital first talent from around the world. And as a tech powered company, our team receives ongoing expertise, advice, and data driven insight for audience development and create the best practices for talent. And our mission is to empower and not control. And we provide 360-degree strategies to help propel our clients' careers and also help them land diverse and progressive deals that will allow them to grow their businesses and personal brand. And as the talent manager, we are basically the first in line of defense for our clients. So that way we try to make sure that our talents are protected. And in addition to that, we provide guidance in most aspects of their careers. And one important duty that we have is that in our duties, it includes like negotiation and making sure that our talent is getting compensated they're getting compensated at the competitive market price.
You know, I love how you mentioned there's a technology part and there's the human part, which is so neuro-based, you said. You know, I see there's so much difference, the way that I see how things are like in the Philippines now. I see that there's a lot of difference in terms of how we do influencer marketing. But you've also worked with brands in the Philippines and of course brands in the US. Now that comparing both climates, I'd say, what are the striking differences that you see in the ways of working in the Philippines, in the US, when it comes to influencer marketing?
Yeah, so the landscape is different because influencer marketing is more advanced in the United States than it is in the Philippines. The United States have been doing this for years, and they have established processes, rules, and regulations on how to conduct businesses. Whereas in the Philippines, we're still defining how that looks like. So another key difference is the way deals are negotiated, because in the US, typically, brands approach a talent with an offer that details what the project is, the creative, the goals and objectives, and the deliverables, and what they're looking for. And, and then also on top of that too, whereas in the Philippines, it's more like, in the Philippines, most of the time, brands and agencies inquire talents for X amount of postings without providing additional details on the post. Most often, it can leave money on the table for talent if the scope of work is not clearly defined, and it leaves them vulnerable if they don't know the right questions to ask. So, and last but not least, one of the things that I also noticed that the nuances and languages that we use to define what a social post mean is different. Like in the United States, like, one post means one piece of content on one platform, whereas in the Philippines, sometimes brands will define it as one post means one piece of content cross-posted on all social media platforms.
And there's also a lot of conversations in terms of usage, in terms of the image and likeness. I learned that from you. The use of image and likeness, it's also something that's not really talked about a lot in the Philippines, or not even, we don't even discuss it. It's not really part of the contract. And, I want to understand further, when it comes to these things, what's your process like in determining prices of influencers? I'm curious to know, how do you cost out the deliverables? I mean, what if the creative is not certain at the point of inquiry? And what are the other things that you consider when you're giving the rates?
Yeah, I mean, that's a very loaded questions that I think like I really have to break it down into different parts. So in the first part of the question, you asked like, what is the process of determining like an influencer price? Well, the answer to that is that there's no specific process or magical formula that will help you determine an influencer's price, because it really depends on what the market is willing to pay at that given time. And ultimately, the price is what a brand is willing to pay and what the talent is willing to do for that job. And to answer your second question,
Yeah,
And
how do you cost it out? How do you cost
yeah,
out the
how do you
deliverables?
yeah, and how do you cost out deliverables? Well, in regards for pricing out the cost for deliverables, we need to determine what type it is. Like, is it a video or is it a static picture? Because videos tend to be more expensive and pricier than a static picture due to the fact that it requires more work. And in addition to that, we need to take in consideration the prices that a talent has been paid in the past, and if the talent's audience growth and engagement has changed, because ultimately prices for each talent will be different.
Right. But what are your thoughts on X deals, Amron? I mean, in the Philippines, a lot of the brands, a lot of the clients would be like, oh, some KOLs are okay with X deals. But honestly, what are your thoughts on it?
Um, can you like further define like what you mean on
Well,
that?
X
Like,
deals make like product for post. Like instead of a cash compensation, it's the product of the brand or anything that's
mhm.
non-monetary. What are your personal thoughts on that?
My personal thoughts on that is like it really depends on the talent. You know, like if you're a new content creator and you're just starting out in your career, it's a good idea to work with that brand to help build the relationship, because at the end of the day, that's how you build the relationship with a brand. It's like you work with them so that way they can get an understanding of who you are. And most
Mhm.
often, if you're like an established content creator, it's really up to your discretion if you want to post about it, because here in the United States there's also like gifting, or like, you know, they
Yeah.
reach out to talent and say, hey, we have this brand that we're launching and we want to gift you. So it's like a great way to position of it's like a great way to position and get your products out there to bring brand awareness.
Right.
Mhm.
And one thing that I also observed here in the Philippines is that if the product is valuable for the talent, I don't see a problem with that. I mean, if it's a new mom, for example, and you're going to give that new mom a stroller, I mean, why not, right? It's valuable in their specific
Mhm.
current state in life, and I don't think they will mind posting about it, as long as it's
No,
valuable.
not yeah, I mean it's very important, because at the end of the day it's just you really got to have like a position and an angle in how you want
Mhm.
to approach like an individual or a talent with your product, because that's important in building relationships. And it takes into consideration, oh yeah, we value you and we see you and we know who you are, that we think that our brand is a great is on brand with who you are as a talent, that we want to give this to you.
Right, right. And another thing that I wanted to discuss in this keynote, and this is an FAQ, like a frequently asked question by most of the creators.
Mhm.
Sir Amron, how do I know what price I'm supposed to give?
Mm-hmm. Well, it
Mhm.
really depends. Again, at the end of the day, it depends on like what the marketing, what the market is willing to pay a content creator.
Mhm.
However, some things to consider is like looking at your past history of how much you've been
Mhm.
paid. But things to consider when you give your raise are things like brand goals and objective. What type of a campaign is it? Is it to bring awareness? Is it an affiliation campaign? Or is it a conversion type of campaign with a call to action? And in addition to that, it's like, how will success be measured in this
Mhm.
relationship or partnership? And the types of deliverables and what platforms are they going to be posted? And another thing to look at is like exclusivity, the term, and the territory. Like, for example, is it in the Philippines, Southeast Asia, or worldwide? The wider the territory, like the more price tag amount that you have to put into it. And sometimes there are content creators who also put a price tag on like the turnaround time, because most often there's like very uh, timely campaigns that need to get executed, and it adds like the additional stress to talent that they need to be compensated for that time. And in
Yeah.
addition to that, like content creators needs to see if there's like paid media behind it. If so,
Mhm.
what kind? Is it whitelisting, access, or boosting, or is it a dark post? So for anyone who don't know, like whitelisting is when a brand can put money behind a content and it allows an influencer's account to show as a sponsored partner with the brand in order for ads to be distributed to a large audience during a determined amount of time. And a dark post allows a content to be promoted on Facebook and Instagram to a targeted audiences without influencer having to natively or organically post anything about it. But
Mhm.
most importantly, another thing to consider is, like you said or mentioned earlier, is the usage, because
Yeah. Mhm.
you know talent needs to know, like, is the brand going to use the content? If so, how? Is it usage on the brand's owned and operated media digital platform? Is it OOH, billboards, or like where is it going? Then that's when we need to put like a price tag on that because it's considered exploitation.
Oh yeah. Well, I want to understand also. So when it comes to negotiation in the Philippines, we're a very relationship
Mm-hmm.
heavy country. I mean, you should know that, right? And when it comes to negotiations, a lot of the factors would really depend on the relationship. I mean, if you like working with this person, I mean, why not? Right?
Mm-hmm.
But how is it like in the US?
It's still relationship
Mm-hmm.
based, but our process is more streamlined where we try to exercise transparency so that way we manage the brand and the talent's expectation, because it really avoids that multiple back and forth in
Mm-hmm.
emails. And it, like, having that clear communication. It's like, hey, we talked about this and this is what we agreed on, and that's why contracts are very important, because that contract is what puts into paper what this project is and what we're working on together and what the brand expectations is and what they expect out of a talent.
Mm-hmm.
And it also highlights what the expectation is from the talent that they, and what of the things they need to execute on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, I know this is not really, I mean, you've mentioned earlier that it really depends. There are plenty of factors that we have to consider when it
Mhm.
comes to pricing. But what are your thoughts on standardizing influencer prices? What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, it really varies, because at the end of the day, like, these social media platforms have very different purposes, and then it also really depends on what the goal of the campaign is. If we just standardize something, it may not be fair to some content creators, because, like, sometimes, yeah, they have different like, they have like the same following, but if one content creator has more engagement versus another, it's kind of like not fair while you're getting paid the same amount of price. Like, let's say a content creator A has like 100,000 followers, and then content creator B has 100,000 followers, but then content creator A has like engagement that are like 50% more than content creator B.
Mm-hmm.
So why would you standardize that and pay them the same amount when, the engagement and the results are going to be different? Kind of not
Right.
fair.
Yeah. Although what I've been seeing here in our country is that, of course, we're a very celebrity crazy country, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so more often than not,
Mm-hmm.
the name matters. If it's a big star name, you can't really tie that directly with numbers. But I
Mm-hmm.
want to understand, is it also like that in the United States? Like, does
Yeah.
name matter, or is
Yes.
it all numbers?
Yeah, names do matter. We take that in consideration, because at the end of the day, those celebrities worked hard in order to get to where they are. However, there's a big difference between influencers and celebrities.
Mm-hmm.
Influencers are popular and known for the roles that they play in TVs, whereas influencers are known for being themselves, and that's what gets them famous. They know how to speak in a very organic way to their audiences. So
Mm-hmm.
when you do con- so when you do influencer marketing campaigns and celebrity different campaigns, you're going to get very different results, you
Right,
know?
right. Yeah. They all have their specific purposes. Sabi
Mm-hmm.
nga nila. Yeah. And also, brands also have to think of pricing on a more macro level, meaning let's not get too fixated on the
Mm-hmm.
number side of things, like, oh, followers, engagement rate. Yes, those matter, but it's not the only thing that matters. Am I
Yeah.
right? Mm-hmm.
That is correct, because sometimes you also have to take into consideration the non-tangible values. Like,
Mm-hmm.
for example, like, some celebrities are proponent to certain causes, and sometimes those certain causes align with certain brands. So you can't discount that. And that's considered something that's non-tangible, because those celebrities appear on film and TV. There's a certain level of popularity in there, in a sense that you also have to take into account.
Right. Now, I know that a lot of our audiences, the brands, the agencies, the creators, I know they have a lot more questions, but maybe they could reach us in some other channels. But for now, Amron, what would be your final word for the brands, the agencies, and the creators themselves. Let's go with the brands first.
Okay, so I guess for brands, I want to emphasize that when doing a campaign, it's very important to work together to identify goals, objectives, and how to measure those success. Also, to have a campaign creative that have elements of storytelling and leaves room for influencers to have input on the campaign creativity. It is important to do this because, like marketing guru Seth Godin once said, people do not buy goods and services. They buy relations, stories, and magic. Sending an already baked prescripted ask to a creator negates their expertise in how they communicate to their audience. Working with influencers should be a collaboration of your brand needs and their talent.
Mhm. That very nice. I love it. It should be a collaboration between what the brand
Mhm,
requires and what the creators' inputs
mhm.
are like. I love it. How about for the agencies, Amron?
For agencies, um, I would advise them and let them know that influencers are not media channels. They are artists. And some agencies just want to know if I put a certain amount of dollars behind a post, how many impressions will that get us? And they think of influencers through the same lens that they build a paid media plan around a banner ad. And it's important to understand that impressions aren't the metrics to focus on for influencers. It's things like engagement from their community, the positive sentiments that surfaces in the comments. These are much deeper metrics we should take a look for, and they happen if the content is good, not just because you put a certain amount of money behind the post. On the opposite spectrum, the same influencer can have a branded post bomb or have it go viral because ultimately it depends on their output as human marketers. So we really have to support them as such. Listen to influencers and give them creative freedom to make the post perform really well.
Right. I love it. I like when you mentioned we're not only paying for the influencers, we're not paying for influencers as media channels. We don't want to consider them as media channels
Mhm,
because they've spent so many years building that reputation, that affinity with their audience.
mhm,
And all of those cannot be summarized into purely quantitative
mhm.
metrics. No? And of
Yeah.
course, there are plenty of content creators watching us right now, curious as to what you have to say as your final word for the creators.
So for content creators, don't quote your rates without getting a clear understanding what the campaign is because you're leaving money on the table if you don't ask the right questions. You have to ask things like, how many reshoots are part of this contract? Ask what the license and usage will be. Ask what the payment terms will be. A lot of emerging creators don't know that sometimes a brand doesn't want to pay you for 120 days after you finish the work that you've already done. So it's important to know what those payment terms are. But most importantly, know your value and be comfortable with walking away if you feel that your integrity isn't being considered as part of the
Mm-mm.
deal.
I love it. Don't be afraid to walk away. Don't be afraid to say no if it doesn't match your
Mm-hmm.
values, if it's not something that you think you can stand again
Mm-hmm.
or stand for or stand by. Don't be afraid
Mm-hmm.
to say no. Darating ang para sa atin, guys.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you so much, Amron, for spending time with us tonight. And we hope that we could follow you more. Where can other people find you?
Mhm. People can find me on LinkedIn, just Amron Lopez, or they can follow me on Instagram at Glamron. That's the @ GLAMRON.
Glamron, because you are always glamorous, Amron. Thank you so much
It's more
again.
like no problem at all. And Ace, thank you so much for having me here. And I hope that a lot of people have a takeaway from this. And yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so very much. Back to you, DJ Shai.
Thank you so much, Amron and Ace, for that very insightful talk. And wow, seriously, I'm learning a lot of things tonight. And if you don't mind me saying, one of the points that really struck was, well, of course, Miss Ace already echoed this, so allow me to do that as well. It was that the campaign should be a collaboration of what the brand requires and what the creators' inputs are like. So, see, I was holding on to your every word. Ang ganda ng pinag-usapan nyo. And also including, liberate the creative voices of brands and clients. And especially, let me just say, campaigns work when they come from an authentic place. So it's very insightful, and I think you were able to answer a lot of the questions that influencers and creators alike have when it comes to marketing themselves. So once again, thank you, Amron and Ace. All right. So, how about you guys? What are your thoughts on his speech? Let us know again through the comment section below. Now, I know, as seen in the comments, you're all very excited for our fireside chat. But before we proceed to that, let me first put the spotlight on these well deserving creators. Now, who could this be? I wonder. Well, if you want to find out, please watch this video.
Hey guys, I'm Renz.
And I'm Liana.
And together we are Renz and Liana. I started out as a member of the group called Chickser. We go to like mall shows together. We dance in front of like a lot of people. Tas naalala ko pa noon yung YouTube back then. Talagang pa-start pa lang. After a couple of years, I decided to focus on my own craft. This time, I was like making my own videos myself. You know, I see like people doing it, like, you know, introducing themselves like as a YouTuber. And I decided na parang gusto ko rin maging katulad nila na sinishare yung buhay nila sa tao. Tapos yun yan na dati, she just, you know, follows me around.
He's the guy who brought me into dancing. He is my Lodi, okay? So ever since I was young, he would teach me all of these dance moves. He would teach me everything that he knows. And I remember I used to always watch him perform live in mall shows, and I would be so amazed.
And then napansin ko, magaling siya sumayaw. Tapos that time, biglang nag-hit yung dub smash. So if ever there's a trending song, right to the point, we make a dance video to it. And then out of nowhere, views are just coming and biglang nag-viral yung isa naming video. And then nagtuloy-tuloy na. We got to like, you know, go to different places, meet different kinds of people, performed in different countries that we never thought that we would actually perform at. Talagang di lang talaga makapaniwala kasi
Until now.
meron na pala kaming subscribers or viewers na ganun kadami. All those memories, guys, was captured and it's all in our vlog. Maybe you guys are probably wondering, how do we like, you know, get to do this thing that we do right now? So with dance video, we make dance videos whenever there is trending, or sometimes when I just got an idea that I think would go off. Like for example, there's like 2 trending songs right now. My idea is to like mix them up when I put it out.
2 songs trending together.
You just make a dance out of it, and everyone who loves that song will of course like it.
When we get to come up with a good idea, we would contact our team and our choreographer, and we would like rehearse for 1 or 2 days. And when we would get it perfect, we would shoot the next day.
I'm the one editing the dance video. You gotta move each frame to whatever dance is happening. That is kind of hard to, you know, edit.
And now with vlogs, we would brainstorm with the team with several ideas, and we would schedule it. Because of course, I also got school and everything.
We have this creative day that's happening.
Yeah, we call it the creative day.
So that it's not just gonna be vlogs.
And
We
dance
also
videos.
have dance videos. We also have other stuff to post. Photos, TikToks, skits.
Yes.
Yeah, all those stuff. So there's like 1 day for us to do those.
Yeah, 1 day in a week.
And guys, as a content creator na sobrang matagal na dito sa industry, now maybe we can share some tips to you guys.
For me, I think that you guys should just discover who you guys really are and embrace the uniqueness in your personality. Like Kuya, he really wanted to be a content creator, so he worked hard for it. He would edit his own videos, he would film on his own and everything. It's really an investment.
Like Niana, I can see her like evolving on her own. She keeps on like training hard for her dance to like improve, engage, and interact with the audience you have. Doesn't matter if it's like a small amount of audience or it's like a big one. It's the fact that you are growing something. Kasi yun naman yung dahilan ba't ka gumagawa ng content, diba? For you to share this creativity or of yours to the people who's gonna watch it. And this content that you post online, it will have a huge impact in their lives. That's the magic behind all of this. Hard work pays off. And yeah guys, so we shared to you guys a little backstory of ours, and we also told you guys how things work around us.
We hope that you learned something from us.
Thank you to CICP for inviting us to be part of this GMM this April.
And for those who are watching, just remember, if we can do it, you can do it too.
All right, there you have it. As we all know, that was Rans, Kyle, and Niana Guerrero. Congratulations, guys. And thank you so much for being such an inspiration to a lot of people, especially those that are close to your age. You really are doing a great job out there. And that's right. You viewers could also be sending your congratulations to Rans and Niana by commenting below. In fact, I think they are responding to some. You could see their names from time to time there. So yeah. Now, it is time for our fireside chat. But before we begin, let me introduce to you our fireside chat moderator for tonight's GMM. Please welcome TV host, fashion journalist, and content creator, Hershey Neri. Hey, Hershey.
Hi, DJ Shai. Thank you so much for that
Hi.
warm welcome. Ang ganda-ganda ng
Of
boses
course.
mo. Grabe.
Oh, thank you so much. No, but you're gorgeous in, out, your voice, everything about you I love. And I'm very excited for what you're going to be doing with us here tonight. So yeah.
Thank you, DJ Shai. Grabe. Guys, mag-modulate na rin ako para mapantayan ang kagandahan ng kanyang boses. DJ Shai, ang dami ko ng mga insights from today. Notes ko
Right?
yan.
Oo, nakakatuwa nga eh.
Ang dami ko na natutunan and I'm super excited for our panelists tonight kasi bigatin din sila. Kaya,
Alright, so
let me introduce them. Okay, hi everybody. My name is Hershey Neri, also known as Hey Hershey. And as what DJ Shai mentioned earlier, I will be your fireside chat moderator. At sobrang bigatin nga naman talaga ng ating mga guests for tonight. And I'm super excited to learn from them. Kaya without further ado, let's welcome them one by one. The very first guest, siya lang naman ang CEO ng Talent Marketers, the one and only Mr. Jojo Ampelocchio. Hello, Mr. Jojo.
Hello, hi, good evening,
Hi,
everyone.
good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you so much
Thanks
for
for
making
having
it
me,
here. Thank you.
Thanks for having
And
me.
yes, and of course naman, the sales and the marketing of Elana Cosmetics, Miss Gita Gopalan.
Good evening, everybody. Nice to be here and great to meet both of you, Jojo and Hershey, and our next panelist.
Thank you, Miss
Hello.
Gita. I love your
Good
lippy.
evening.
Thank you.
Super love the shade. And of course, the last but definitely not the least, one of the most sought after content creators of today for his genuine and quirky personality. Please welcome Macoy Virilla, aka Macoy Dubs.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, CICP, for having me. And hello, Hershey, Sir Jojo, and Miss Gita. Super nice to meet all of
Hey,
you.
hey, Macoy. Nice to see you
Likewise.
again.
Diba? Ang dami na, I'm sure lahat tayo nakapag-work with one another at ang dami nating mga gustong pagchikahan. Pero medyo may kasi tayo ngayon, may hinahabol na time limit. What time limit? Kaya before anything else, okay lang po ba kung mag-proceed na tayo sa first question of the night? Ready na po ba tayo? Ready, and of course, our first question naman is, what is your best experience working with influencers? Let's start with Sir Jojo.
Okay. Thank you for that question. Ay, wow. para tayo nasa beauty pageant. No, but best experience. Okay, just as a background, aside from being the CEO of a talent agency called Talent Marketers, so I manage celebrities and influencers. No? But at the same time, kasi dual din. No? I think pretty much to our guest speaker, thank you so much. We share a lot of views, common views. No? Kasi I also own an ad agency and an ad agency that specializes in digital and also influencer marketing. So parang I wear two hats. I see where the brands is coming from, and I also see where the influencer is coming from. So we strike a balance. So the best experience really, there's no specific best experience because I can't naman name and say si ganitong influencer is the best that I've worked with, because we have worked with so many, and there were a lot of pleasant experiences naman. But the best really is, siguro just to echo what our guest speaker said, best talaga is when you get the results that you want. No? And pag win-win yung situation. I mean, the brands win, and at the same time, the influencer wins as well. So yun yung best and most ideal. So dapat win-win yung sitwasyon talaga. And when you say win-win, I think you can achieve it if you talaga co-create content. No? Kasi I think that was one of the things that was highlighted in the talk just a while ago. It's really about being true to yourself. You know, the content and output that you let out should be who you are, and brands need to understand that. Sometimes kasi brands, di ba, parang they also like you know, want to dictate to the influencer what they need to do. Pero the real power of an influencer campaign or influencer marketing campaign is if both agrees. You know, if the content creator at the same time brand agrees on a specific objective, and they together create co-create the content. So yeah, that's I think the best situation and best experience.
Ang ganda. I agree po, no? That's the best kind of relationship kapag, in any relationship. Diba? It's really the best kapag you co-create or you collaborate lagi. What about Miss Gita?
On the spot, no? I also don't want to name names, but I will, para fun. No, just
I
because
love
they're
it.
awesome. They're awesome collaborators, and over the years, we've loved working with a lot of the same influencers that we have since 2016 even. So Elana has been working with, noong una, blogs pa lang eh. You know, our online influencers were really writers, then that eventually transitioned to visual and video and all of that. And now it's streaming and podcasts. So there's so much content out there. We have several, okay, that we know for a fact that really works well for us as a brand. It's part of what Jojo mentioned, that gets na eh. Gets nila kami, gets namin sila. So pwede talaga mag-collaborate. One of them is Liz Lanuzo from Project Vanity and her whole group at Project Vanity. We've worked together not just in them showcasing new releases that we have, but even in coming up actually with products together. One of the things that made that partnership awesome is that she knew her strengths. I knew our strengths as a brand, right, in our products, in what we could deliver. And by putting together and combining what we could do together, we did awesome things. And if you don't mind, I'll give another example. In 2019, I think about the summer of 2019, we identified a small group of influencers where we gave a bit of a crazy brief. Sabi namin, do anything you want with our loose mineral foundation, but it has to involve water. Okay, so we gave them a video of something, an execution that we did at an event. There's a bowl of water and you literally dunk your face in it. And because our foundation's waterproof. So pagka pawisin ka and everything, it doesn't, hindi siya mahuhulas. Okay. So
perfect for Manila weather.
Perfect for Manila weather in the summer and in the rain. Covered lahat ng season. So taking that brief, no? So as Jojo mentioned, as a brand, we have a message we want to say. In this case, for us, it's, you know, our foundation is waterproof. And what these three ladies did was, this was Helen on Fleek, May Layog, and oh no, I'll come back, wait. But what they did was different executions on showcasing our product underwater. One of them literally took a video of herself taking a bath. She did her whole hair. Hindi naman siya nag facial wash or anything. That would have completely removed it. But and then showed that after it was still there. One dove into a pool, swam around with a full face of makeup. And then the other one did our original brief, which was, option for you to dunk your face into the water. So it was the collaboration between us and them created for a powerful campaign that kind of identified that in the market, that this is a foundation that is waterproof. And it was just so iconic and so distinct for what we wanted to say. So hanggang ngayon, that's still something that our customers remember.
I love it. At nakakatuwa talaga, no? Pag the brands also trust the content creators to go wild. Na basta this is the brief. And it's like what Sir Jojo said earlier. It's collaborating. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing that. Ma-try gusto ko tuloy ma-try yung mineral foundation. Wow.
Thank you.
Na-inganyo ako dun sa dunking the water. And of course, let's hear it from the one and only Macoy Dubs.
Thanks, Hershey. Grabe naman sa one and only.
The one and only.
Ako
Wala
lang
naman
din.
ibang
Klase
Macoy
yung one and-
Dubs.
Grabe
Klase
naman
naman
yun.
yung one and only.
Oo, simple lang po ako. Ako lang po ito.
Bakit ako walang one and only?
The one lang, the one.
The one lang. Oo. Or only one. Charing. I remember when I was still working in the advertising industry, when I was still with the creative agency, of course, handling multinational brands, local brands as well with holding companies. Syempre, one of the best things or best experiences working with a content creator and an influencer is that you'll be able to get to know them better. Because iba rin ang, I mean, as a content creator myself, may seryoso side din sila, no? And secondly, especially kapag na-feel mo as an agency person or as an account manager or a creative person, pag na-feel mo na love ng content creator and influencer yung brand mo, you will feel na, okay, I'll get them or I'll get her or him for the next campaign. Because syempre, the agencies naman, we also calibrate and we also study, we present data to our clients na, okay, this is the engagement rate of this content creator or influencer. And we also recommend kung effective ba sila or magiging effective. But also, coming from an agency standpoint, meron ding hit or miss, no? May mga hit or miss moments din tayo or may mga leap of faith moments din tayo sa mga brands, no, or an agency. So normal na nangyayari 'yon and we accept that, no. But of course, it still depends sa brief, no? Because kung gaano kaganda or gaano kaakma yung brief para dun sa content creator or influencer, pag na-feel ng content creator and influencer na hindi ako malilimitahan dito, I can really be wild, no? That's why also yung sa nabanggit ni Miss Gita na you can go wild, you can go, I mean, laban, di ba? And kumbaga, walang limit, no? But of course, still following the brand guidelines and still following din yung kung ano yung nandun sa brief. So I guess for me, best experience for the positive side, yung mas nakikilala mo yung content creator and influencer na they're authentic off-cam and on-cam.
I love it. At gustong-gusto ko talaga na you're wearing two hats right now. You're not just a content creator. You also had experience in advertising. So you get, kumbaga, both sides. I love it. And totoo yan, no, na important talaga yung relationship and yung pagiging genuine ng content creator. And speaking of content creator, si Sir Jojo, siya yung CEO of Talent Marketers. And hindi before naman, he was in the entertainment industry for so long. Tapos ngayon, naging digital na. So alam din niya, you know, yung traditional versus digital media. So Sir Jojo, ano po ba yung mga major changes na nakita nyo through these years?
Okay. Lilinawin ko lang ha, kasi sabi I've been in the entertainment industry before. Hindi po ako nag-artista, mukha lang.
I love it.
But, so I'm a talent manager, but I was in marketing for 20 years before putting up a talent agency. So I was in Gita's shoes 20 years, for 20 years. So that's why napalapit din ako sa mga artista and to some talent managers. We've worked with them with, you know, a lot of branded content and collaborations and endorsements like that. No? Ngayon, to be honest with you, we've been doing a lot of town halls, no, for different artists and different influencers, not only for my artists. So under TMI, we manage the likes of like Camille Prats, Isabel Oli, Denise Laurel, Pauline Lula, Neri Miranda, Chito Miranda, and many more. we've been doing town halls, my agency, talking to each one, even to other artists from the other networks. We want to teach, we're actually now teaching them, we're doing town halls to talk to them about influencer trends for 2021. And because there's a lot that has changed. Maybe because of the pandemic, everything went fast. So ang daming nagbago, nag-iba yung landscape. Well, hindi naman nag-iba. It was really bound to happen. The change was bound to happen, except that it happened faster than expected. So now, iba na. Before, talent, celebrities, yung mga naunang influencers, they were used to just being on cam. They were used to just being given a script and then acting out on cam. And then even the platforms and the media before were the traditional ones were what, TV commercials, OOH, print. Pero ngayon that digital, and there are a lot of platforms that happened, diba? Like during the pandemic, sumikat ang TikTok, the rise of Kumu, no, and all the live streaming platforms. So if you look at everything that's happening in the industry, everything is changing, everything is evolving. So you can't stay in one place. You can't stay static. You have to learn. You have to adapt. You, as an influencer, so kung ano man yung nakasanayan mo noon, hindi na siya pwedeng maging prevalent ngayon. You need to keep on evolving. Like now, okay, so one difference is that campaigns now are results driven, or results. More of the brands now are mostly looking into results. So the availability of data and analytics is now very important. So influencers need to understand it. Hindi na pwede, tama you still need to be true to yourself. You need to still post what is your authentic self, your genuine creativity, because that way you can cheat the algorithm of Instagram, Facebook, and all the other social media platforms. So tataas yung engagement mo if your content is authentic. Totoo yun. But you have to also keep in mind that there are analytics involved now. Alam na nila yan. Nakikita na ng brands and agencies how your posts are doing, if they are, if it's providing value to the brand or not. So important yun. That's why, kanina I was telling you guys, co-creation is important, collaboration and the win-win spirit should be prevalent. Kasi that's the only way, we can make influencer marketing very successful. So yun yung isang change, analytics. Second, kanina they were talking about relationships. Importante rin yun that brands develop deep relationships with preferred influencers. But at the same time, influencers being able to also develop that deep relationship with a brand that they really use and that they are happy to endorse. Kasi that way, it becomes a longer-term contract. Hindi lang kontrata because of the money, but it becomes a longer-term relationship. And that now provides value to both. Both the influencer and at the same time, both the brands. So yun, we're doing town halls. We're teaching them how to adapt and to evolve around all the changes that's happening in the industry. So hindi na pwedeng on-cam. Ang isa pa palang change na nakita ko, for celebrities, they now need to self-produce. Dati nasanay na merong production team, pupunta lang ako, sisipot lang ako sa isang venue, and then, sige, i-shoot yun na kung ano gusto nyong i-shoot. Nowadays, no. All the other celebrities, talents, influencers, micro, nano, mid-tier, mega, all the macros even, all your influencers need to be able to create content themselves. So yan yung mga nakikita kong super prevalent changes.
Totoo po yan, Sir Jojo, kasi ang dami ng may ring lights ngayon. Nagkaroon ng spike yung sales ng ring lights.
Out of stock sa Lazada.
Oh, that's so true.
And
Thank you
Shopee.
Thank you, Sir Jojo, for that. Ano, no, ang dami ko na talaga natututunan. Kanina pa sa backstage pa lang when Sir Jojo was sharing insights, nagno-notes na talaga ako. Kasi as a content creator myself, I also want to learn from this panel. Sobrang bigatin nga naman ng ating mga guests tonight. And of course, Miss Gita naman, my question is, since, you're representing the brand side, how do you get talents? Do you work with an agency or do you specifically approach talents?
We do three things. One is we do approach talents that we find. The second is talents approach us. People approach us quite often. And the third is sometimes we also work with agencies. It really depends, as Jojo mentioned, on ano ba yung current objectives of a particular campaign or an initiative. No, and Jojo's right on the money when he was saying na it's all about the analytics. So for us, our story, we started doing, like I mentioned kanina, like blogs pa lang, nandun na kami. We started with blogs when when blogs was the channel. And even at that time, that was about 2016, 2015, we were already in the analytics space. We would track. If we are putting, whether may bayad yan or it's products or whatever engagement, we were making an investment to somebody or to a platform, we'd be checking the return on that investment. And for us at that time, what we were just looking at was how many website clicks did your article or your blog post drive to us? Kasi yun lang yung pwede namin matrack at that point. And so now, with all the different tools, plus how information has been made available also by the platforms, we now see more of that data. And beyond just seeing, okay, you're a good poster, maganda yung content mo, maganda ka, kasi beauty industry, all of these things, we're also looking at whether you're able to drive not just traffic to our website or traffic to our stores, but is your influence worth anything? Okay. And that's personally, if I may share, one of my biggest frustrations right now. As Jojo said, nagkaroon ng boom itong space natin sa digital over the pandemic. And so the number of influencers, and I use the air quotes because they don't have any influence yet, is so high. And so kahit kami, we had to evolve. We scrapped our dati we had programs that were very welcoming to new content creators who wanted to develop stuff, develop their content using our products and all the things. But now we have to be more strict. I'm sorry, if you don't have at least 20,000 in any of these channels, we can't. Simply because you haven't developed yet at that relationship with your audience, and or, sorry to say, your content is not distinct enough. Not even for us, but just for you as a content creator. Naiiba ka ba? You don't need to be first. And that's where the authenticity comes from. It's not so much about, I'm going to make another food channel, I'm going to make another beauty channel. It's not that. It's like, ikaw ba, do you have something that is identifiably you in the content that you're creating? And more we're seeing that as not the case, unfortunately. So yeah, really encouraging content creators to make content that is distinct to them. So we actually have a five dimensions that we look at. First is the brand fit or brand persona. So do you represent in how you speak, how you look, how your lifestyle, do you represent our brand values? Because if you don't, wala na. It's not, even if you love our products, medyo malayo na tayo sa isa't isa. Second, syempre, your audience. Size matters to some degree depending on the campaign, but also audience fit. So our products are priced at a certain level. If your audience is not of that kind of lifestyle, hindi tayo talo, ganon. And then third is, and we really look at this because it's been one of the things that has determined greater success for us, is that distinctiveness of the influencer. And that's a very elusive quality, itong sinasabi nating authentic, but it's quite identifiable when you are looking at many different influencers side by side. Pagka tinapat ko si A, B, C, D, E, F, G, kung sino yung star doon, lilitaw siya eh. Makikita mo dun sa engagement, dun sa with and without the metrics. So we look at that distinctiveness. And then estimated goal achievement. So depending on our goals, sometimes it's visibility, sometimes it's engagement and discussion, traffic to the store, and oftentimes for us, it's sales. Because we're a highly e-commerce business, we can track how much you're delivering in terms of sales. So that goal is really important. If we've worked with you before, we have a baseline to be able to say na, oh, ito yung mangyayari next. If we haven't worked with you before, then we're taking that risk as well. And then lastly, the investment. Earlier, Sina Amron and Ace were talking about license and usage. And one thing I'd like to just point out as a brand that's been maximizing and working with influencers for several years now is that that collaboration goes beyond the content. If as a brand, I decide to put your face on our campaign with added money and visibility to it, guess what? I'm investing in your platform. Sure, you're contributing to my brand, but I'm also investing in your platform. And we've seen this time and time again. We were one of the first groups that actually invested cash in influencers. And because of that initial investment and our drive to use faces and their exposure, they also grew their channels because of our investment. And so it's really a win-win kind of relationship. And so if content creators get stuck in this mindset na ini-exploit kami, you lose out on these valuable conversations that can be had with brands that really want a win-win relationship. So I know that there are brands that are not like that, and please guard yourselves, but that there are also brands that are like that want to have a real good relationship. So at the end of the day, it's those 5 things.
Thank you so much, Miss Gita. Ang dami ko natutunan, grabe. Especially yung nag-stand out is every content creator should have something unique about them for them to stand out. Kasi ang dami-dami ng pool of talents right now and you need something that makes you na bakit ikaw yung kukunin. And which brings me to our next panelist. Yung content niya talaga, isa sa mga pinaka-genuine na nakikita ko online. Macoy, I know you started as an independent content creator, but now you're being managed. So, can you please kwento naman, what's the difference? Bakit ba kailangan magpa-manage? Or would you advise content creators to be managed as well? And how did you get there? Dami kong tanong. Dami nun.
Thanks, Hirsch. Yes, I've been an independent, since 2017 till 2020 ng June. So, talagang agencies and then brands, diretso na sa akin. But, of course, since nag-lockdown last year, I have more time to create my content and social media following ay lumalaki rin. So, napansin ako ng isang talent agency. So, they asked me, okay, can we manage you? Kasi nga, ganyan, and ito yung mga plans nila for me. Sabi ko, yes, go! Labahan, di ba? And sabi ko, it depends din kasi sa priority because I was an employee at that time and I was also teaching before in Letran and I was working in an advertising agency. So, medyo mahirap para sa akin to manage everything, no? And I was still studying for my master's pa. So, ang hirap. So yes, kung kayang magpa-manage at kung may mag-a-approach, bakit hindi? At kung maganda ang plano, why not? Laban yan. But if hindi, at kung kaya mo pa naman sa panahon ngayon, okay lang rin. But nung namamanage na ako, I admit, madali for me in terms of negotiation, scheduling of my, kumbaga kung may mga shoot o kung may mga pa-post, mas madali. Kasi nire-remind ako ng aking road manager. Kasi before, nung wala, ako lahat naka-notes lahat sa planner. So, depende sa prioridad, no? Kung kaya, at maganda ang plano, maganda ang latag ng talent agency, go! Why not? Pero kung kaya mong ikaw lang, okay lang din. Yan.
I love it. Kasi ito din yung chinat mo sa akin nung tinatanong kita, di ba? Sabi ko, okay ba magpa-manage? Yan na ganyan din yung sinabi mo. I love it. And question lang, as a content creator, I'm sure ang dami nagtatanong na to, okay ba? Like, mas maganda ba ang rates kapag nagpapamanage?
It depends. Kasi ikaw pa rin, as a content creator, ikaw pa rin ang may last say. Like for example, when I signed with the talent management, ako na nagsasabi na mataas to, babaan natin. Hindi man ako ganun kalaki, hindi man ako milyon sa following sa Instagram. So, parang back off tayo kung masyadong mahal. So, ako pa rin ang nagsasabi. But it depends, no? But me personally, depende rin sa engagement, sa trend. Kasi minsan nga hit or miss talaga, 'di ba? 'Yon.
I love it. Thank you so much, Macoy, for all those insights. And ngayon naman, before we part ways in the meantime, yung last nating graded recitation ay, ano naman po yung kino-consider nyo when discussing influencer pricing? So, kasi ang hirap, kasi bagong-bago lang din yung digital influencer, di ba? It's not like a 20-year-old industry. So, it's currently evolving and evolving. So, how do you, hindi na pala. I-chika nyo na lang yun sa akin sa DM, sa Instagram. Yun yung i-PM ko sa inyo. Perfect. So, ngayon naman, before we bid adieu, ano naman ang final words nyo on pricing? So, short and sweet lang po ito. So, Sir Jojo, what are your message naman for agencies regarding pricing?
Okay. Regarding pricing, kanina at the backstage you were asking me about this. Siguro I just wanna share this to the audience as well. Like si Macoy was saying, siya pa rin naman nasusunod. Yes, that's correct. Just for influencers, if you there are certain advantages to being managed. Not because I'm a talent manager, and not because I want you guys to call me and so that I can manage you. It's not that. There are certain advantages, so. Pero you need to make sure that your manager knows how to open doors. I was telling guys nga during the roadshows that we've been doing, it's hard for your managers to open doors for you if they don't know where the doors are. So, very important to choose wisely. And then, second, yung sinasabing pricing, yes, that's correct. A little bit of perception gives you as an influencer that if you're being managed, you now, at the very least, command a little bit of premium. Okay, pero please, even if you're now already commanding a premium, and kasi ganyan yan eh, you start as a nano, and then you micro, and then you move until you become trending, and then you become very big as an influencer, etc. Please don't forget who you are when you started. Don't forget what your original content was, why people followed you, why people loved you. Don't change that, because that's who you are. That's gonna be who you are forever. So just keep on creating content that way, who you are. No? But at the same time, you also have to understand yung as your rate increases, yung expectations din sa'yo nag-i-increase yan. Okay, so now it's very important to understand, okay, it's not just about what you get from brands, it's also about the value you bring to the table. The value, kasi like Gita was saying kanina, no? If they will invest money in you, but definitely it's a business, they need to get that investment back. Merong return on investment dapat yan. So they need to be able to see your value for the brand, whether it's for engagement, for awareness, for conversion, and more often than not, syempre conversion. Kailangan makabenta sila, di ba? If they get you as an influencer, a brand has to be, kailangan makabenta si brand. Now, it's a business relationship. So, kailangan tawag dito, hindi natin, ay nako, ano ba naman to si brand? Gusto magbenta ako. Well, that's exactly why they got us. Diba? So that they can sell. No? But at the same time then, message ko naman to the brands. No? We've worked with some brands na if they pay an influencer a certain amount, they feel like, dapat gawin nyo to, gawin nyo to, gawin nyo to, gawin nyo to. Hindi na rin uso yung ganun ngayon. You have to be able to give the influencer the freedom to execute the content based on who they are. Kasi aside from doing paid media, kasi syempre, di ba, when we do campaigns, we also do paid media. We pay for boosting and all that so that the content becomes viral or the content has more engagement and impressions. Pero you can actually do away or do less with paid media if the content is accurate and pasok to the image and to the liking of the follower of that person. So it becomes organic. So you have to understand each other. Yun eh. Kung ikaw si brand, kukuha ka ng influencer, you have to understand saan siya magaling, saan siya malakas. Ano yung personality niya that will make his or her followers convert, or kung ano man yung call to action mo, magko-call to action yung followers. What will trick their followers? And at the same time, what will trick the algorithm to show you that content to more people that are not following that influencer? The only way to do that is to be organic and to be true to the person's persona and brand imaging or personal branding. That's why it's very important to co-create, usap. Like before, may mga ibang artista before, no? Ito, isa pang diferensya sa trad media before. Okay, sige, briefing tayo. Kukunin ka na namin. Sige, we'll sign you a contract for a endorsement deal. But briefing tayo. Briefing? Magkikita-kita? Kailangan may bayad yung yung appearance ko. Dapat nga hindi na. Dapat ngayon, we demand for it. We demand to meet with the brands first for a briefing, for an onboarding, so we understand what they want us to do. Para malinaw. And also, kanina, Amran was saying about contracts. Please, guys, for us influencers, please read the contracts. Very, very important. We've had a lot of experiences where the influencers sort of got in a situation where they breached the contract because they didn't read it. So very important. Read the contracts, understand it, understand that there will be charges and penalties if you don't follow.
Thank you po, Sir Jojo. Opo, thank you so much. Ang dami kong, nakataga na po yan sa brain ko. Thank you, Sir Jojo, for all of that. And now po for Miss Gita, very short and sweet lang po na message to brands.
Sure. I have lang one request. The first one is, I remembered the three ladies. Kasi kakahiya naman. I love them so much and I forgot. But yeah, so yung kanina, yung kwento ka about that waterproof foundation campaign that we did, that was Helen on Fleek, May Layog, and Georgia Relucio. So fantastic work that they did for us. That's sentence number one. Number two, it's really a discussion. I know pricing is an awkward topic. Parang ang hirap, paano mo ipaprice ang buhay mo? Ganon, di ba? And it's difficult. And so what CICP will do potentially is maybe eventually come up with some sort of standard pricing. Even when you have something like that, it still ends up being a discussion between the brands. But it gives us all a baseline for what is potentially fair, right? So pag-usapan, please, just because mataas, hindi ibig sabihin hindi pwede. Just because mababa, hindi ibig sabihin hindi ka binavalue. So talk about it. Yun.
Thank you so much, Miss Gita. Grabe, ngayon sa mga content creators watching this, it's important to do your best talaga in every engagement. Kasi tingnan mo si Miss Gita, she remembered the three ladies who did really well in that campaign, diba? So, unforgettable. And of course, let's hear it from Macoy.
Thank you. Three things. Number one, check the label, di ba? Huwag ka magpresyo ng mataas kung hindi mataas ang engagement rate and reach and impressions mo. Number two, magbigay ka ng freebie sa kliyente, no? And love the brand that you're promoting or endorsing. Kung ang requirement, three Instagram stories, bigay ka ng 2 or 1. Walang mawawala sa'yo. Pangatlo, maintain good relationship with brands. Because pag nagustuhan nila ang trabaho mo, ang work mo, kukunin ka nila ulit. Yun lang.
Thank you so much. Again, guys, palakpakan naman natin si Sir Jojo Ampelocchio, Gita Gopalan, and Macoy Averilla. Thank you so much for all your insights, and I hope to get in touch with you. Kung may mga questions kami, sana pwede ka na. May next pa tayong panel discussion very, very soon with Vlogapalooza. Thank you so much, guys. See you again. Thank you.
Thank you.
And yes, DJ Shy, how are you over there?
I'm great. Hi, thank you. And again, thank you so much, Hershey, Jojo, Gita, and McCoy for that very meaty panel discussion about our topic, influencer pricing and negotiations. Moving on, it is now time for our tips and tricks. And this time, it's brought to us by the very energetic ball of sunshine, AC Bonifacio.
Hello po, I'm AC Bonifacio. I am mostly a dancer who has become a singer, a host, an actress, and an influencer. I have been doing YouTube and creating content for a few years now. And although I'm only 18, there's so much more to learn. But I think I have a few little tips that I'm able to share with you to get your content creating started. Pero don't depend on me, of course. You can learn from so many more other people. But I'm here just to share with you some of my tips that I think are very important to me. Anyways, okay. Number one, of course, is to be yourself and do what you want to do. I've caught myself in the few years that I've started this that I started to become someone that I wasn't, and I started to do content because other people were doing that content and it was trendy. But I was like, oh, di ako masaya dito. I wasn't having fun. So really just be yourself with your content. Find your own voice, whether it's in arts, fashion, style, whatever it is. Ako po, with my dance videos, with my vlogging, I always want to do the dance choreography that I'm comfortable in, or in vlogging, I try to always be my energetic, happy, crazy self, because people will always love you for you. Yes, so do what you enjoy and be yourself in your content. Number two is to be confident. Of course, that's one thing I've had to learn through TV or social media, and it can be hard. It really can be hard, and it may take time. But of course, patience. You really need patience with what you do in your career, and slowly you'll get there. But of course, just be confident in what you do. Wag kang mahiya. Wag kang mahiya. There are gonna be people out there who love you. Of course, there are gonna be those bashers every now and then, which happens to me all the time. But people are gonna love you if you are just happy and you're confident and you do what you want to do. Do not compare yourselves to others. Do not do that, and don't overthink it. Just let everything go with the flow and try to be different. Be who you want to be. Minsan nga, yung mga nagva-viral, yung mga iba eh. Be different, be unique, and be confident. Yes, and of course, number three, which I think is the most important for me, because until now I'm still doing this, keep learning, keep improving your skills. There's so much more people to learn from. I have learned from so many people, whether it's people older than me who have been in the industry for so long, or people younger than me, like my best friend Yana. I've learned so much from her, and it's insane how much technology is evolving nowadays and how much the content is evolving. So, wag kang makontent. Wag kang makontent sa content mo, di ba? Just keep going, keep inspiring, of course. Keep learning so that you can keep inspiring, and never stop learning. Yeah. Thank you so much. Hopefully these tips will help you in content creating, and thank you so much for having me. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Like I said, ball of sunshine. And there you have it, the CICP April General Membership Meeting. Thank you, of course, CICP, for picking me as your host. And I definitely learned so much tonight. And hello, by the way, to my colleagues at the Manila Broadcasting Company who are watching us tonight. And yes, we would also like to thank our keynote speakers, Amron Lopez, and our panelists, Sir Jojo, Miss Gita, and Macoy Dubs. And of course, Miss Hershey, thank you very much. And also to all those who are watching us, thank you so very much. If you're not yet a member of the CICP and you want to join us once again and learn more about the industry, just go to their website. It's www.cicp.com.ph and go sign up. This has been your host. My name is DJ Shy of 96.3 Easy Rock, just the right rock. See you guys next time. Bye.